everyone, let's talk about Pareto's Principle. Pareto's Principle is also known as the 80-20 rule. This principle teaches us that in many situations, most results come from a small number of causes. It helps us focus on what really matters and use our time more efficiently. For example, in a classroom, 80% of class participation might come from only 20% of the students. What is Pareto's Principle? The Pareto Principle or 80-20 rule means that 80% of the outcomes come from 20% of the efforts. It reminds us to focus on the most important tasks that bring the biggest results instead of wasting time on less important ones. For example, in business, 80% of sales often come from 20% of loyal customers. So, focusing on those customers can bring greater success. Pareto's Principle History. This principle was developed by an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto in the late 1800s. He noticed that in Italy, 80% of the land was owned by only 20% of the people. From that observation, he formed that this principle, which is now used not only in economics but also in business, management, and productivity. For example, for instance, in a company, 80% of profits may come from 20% of the products they sell, meaning those few products are the most valuable.
Pareto's Principle in business, used to identify key areas that impact profit and performance. Example, 80% of complaints come from 20% of customers. 80% of sales come from 20% of products. Ito, tinutulungan tayo kung ano ba ang dapat na aksyon para makagawa ng malaking impact o malaking resulta. Malaking resulta na makakatulong para magpa-improve ng business. Pareto's Principle within society. Wealth distribution. A small percentage controls most wealth. Diba sa society, konti lang naman yung mga mayayaman. Pero, yung mga mayayaman na to, mas malaki pa yung binibigay nilang percent ng pera kumpara dun sa mga mahihirap. Kahit mas marami yung mahihirap, maliit lang yung nabibigay nilang percent. Crime. A few criminals cause most crimes. Diba sa krimen, hindi naman lahat ng tao gumagawa ng krimen. Mostly, ang isang krimen nanggagaling lang din sa same na grupo o sa mga tao na sanay na o nakagawa na ng krimen dati. At paulit-ulit lang din nila itong ginagawa. Education. A few schools produce most top achievers. Diba sa mga board exam? Pag nakita na natin yung school na nandun sila sa mga top notchers na yon, every year, lagi natin nakikita yung mga schools na yon dahil sila ay may best offers ng education. Pareto's Principle in life in general. 20% of habits may produce 80% of success. Hindi naman lahat ng ginagawa natin ay nakakatulong sa atin. Mostly, yung mga maliliit lang na part, yung mga nakakatulong sa success natin. Dahil itong maliit na part na to, ito yung mahirap. Ito yung mahirap i-maintain. Pero sa future, ito yung mga nakakatulong lagi sa atin. Helps manage time and focus on what truly matters. Nakakatulong to para i-manage yung time natin. Kasi makikita natin dito yung percent ng mga ginagawa natin na nakakatulong talaga sa atin. Kasi most of the time, yung oras natin ay nakukonsumo sa mga ginagawa natin na nasumasaya lang tayo. Kagaya ng paglalaro, imbes na sa pag-aaral. Encourages working smarter, not harder. In-encourage din tayo nito na mag-solve ng mas madaling paraan para mas mabilis natin magawa ang isang bagay. Kasi kapag puro hardworking lang, may mas madali palang paraan, bakit hindi na lang yung mas madali yung gawin natin? Mas mapapabilis yung trabaho at mas marami pa tayong time gumawa ng iba pang mas mahahalagang bagay.
Pareto's Principle Analogy. The Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, is the observation that roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. Like sa business is the top 20% of the customer generate 80% of the company's revenue. In a garden naman is 20% of plants produce 80% of fruits. So, taking care of those 20% give the best harvest. It focuses on the key actions that bring highest result. And how can Pareto's principle be applied in a business? It indicates imbalance between costs and effects. Minority of inputs or costs is responsible for the majority of outputs or effects, and not all inputs give equal outputs. This is practical implication of the imbalance. It means that most of your efforts and resources are spent on things that produce very little value. By recognizing that some inputs are inherently more powerful than others, you shift your mindset from merely being busy to being effective. Additionally, it helps to identify critical few to optimize performance. The principle provides a filter for prioritizing actions. Its value lies in forcing you to identify the vital few inputs that are responsible for the greatest or greater impact, and then directing your focus and resources proportionally towards them. This allows for a dramatic increase in overall efficiency and result. What does Pareto's principle indicates? First is time management. It focuses on top tasks. Second is customer service. Prioritize key clients. And third is sale. Focus on best product. And problem solving. Fix major issues.
Today, we're going to discuss the 80-20 principle in business, or tinatawag din natin na Pareto Principle. Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng 80-20 principle? So, ang ibig lang sabihin nito ay 80% ng results ay nanggagaling lang sa 20% ng mga causes. Ibig sabihin, yung maliit na part ng efforts ang nagkadalasan nagbibigay ng malalaking impact. So, meron tayong halimbawa nito sa business. 80% ng kita ay galing lang sa 20% ng customers. 80% ng productivity ay galing sa 20% ng employees. 80% ng problems or defects ay galing sa 20% ng causes. So makikita natin sa chart na karamihan ng customer complaints ay dahil lang sa iilang issues tulad ng slow service, wrong order, wood not hot, unfriendly stop, and the billing issues. Kung mapapansin natin, yung slow service is yung may pinakamataas. Ito ay around or exactly 45 number of complaints. And kung ilalapat natin to using the straight line, the total is around or below 100% or 90 sakto. And ganoon din sa iba, like the wrong order, 30 number of complaints and 60%. The food that hot, 25 number of complaints and 50%. Unfriendly stop, 15 number of complaints and 30%. And last is yung the billing issues, exactly 10 number of complaints and 20%. And then yung meron pang mga iba is below 10 na number of complaints and below 20% for the cumulative percentage. So ano nga ba yung goal ng 80-20 principle? So simple lang, para mapadali ang work at mapataas ang efficiency at kita ng business, hindi kailangan ayusin lahat sabay-sabay, uunahin lang yung mga pinaka-importante. In short, kung magpa-focus tayo sa vital ng 20%, makukuha natin ang 80% ng results. For our next topic, i-explain naman natin kung paano natin magagamit ang Pareto Principle in our daily life. So, sabi kanina in our previous topic, sinasabi ng principle na 80% ng results ay nanggagaling sa 20% ng causes, efforts, or sources. So, hindi lang ito applicable sa business, kundi pati na rin sa ating personal life. So, number 1 is social interaction. Usually, 20% ng friends natin ang nagbibigay ng 80% ng ating happiness. Kaya mas mabuting mag-focus tayo sa meaningful connections kaysa sa dami ng mga kaibigan. Number 2 is relationships. So, di ba mas importante yung key actions tulad ng respect, trust, faithful, and communication. Kahit konti lang yung efforts, pero kung quality naman, mas okay yun. Mas malaking impact yun sa relationship. Number 3 is the daily activities. So, ito mahalaga to. Mas magandang i-prioritize natin yung mga high-value tasks, yung mga bagay na talagang nagbibigay ng best results. Di lahat ng gawain ay pantay ang epekto, kaya mas okay na piliin natin yung pinaka-importante. So, sa madaling salita, pag in-apply natin daw yung 80-20 principle sa araw-araw na buhay, tutulungan tayo nitong maging mas productive, mas focused, at mas happy. The benefits and importance of Pareto Principle. So, Ngayon is i-explain natin kung ano ba yung benefits importance ng Pareto Principle. So isa sa pinaka-importanting benefit nito ay number 1, helps to improve efficiency and focus. Ibig sabihin, mas magagamit natin ng maayos ang oras at effort dahil alam natin kung saan tayo dapat mag-focus. Number 2 is helps prioritize important tasks. Instead of doing everything all at once, inuuna natin yung mga importante or mapapakinabangan natin. Number 3 is it encourages better decision making. Why? Kasi nakabase ito sa facts or data, hindi lang sa mga random choices. Number 4 is it can lead to higher productivity. Mas konting oras ang ginugugol pero mas malaking resulta yung nakukuha. And last is useful in both personal and professional life. Kaya diba applicable ito sa ating mga studies, works, or kahit sa simpleng daily routines natin. Sa note dito sa baba, nakalagay na hindi lahat ng bagay ay may equal na contribution. Kaya dapat ay mag-focus tayo sa mga ilang bagay na nagbibigay ng pinakamaraming results. So dito may example tayo. Halimbawa, may exam tayo, di ba? Imbis na basahin natin lahat yung topics, mas nire-review natin yung ibang lessons na importante lang or yung madalas lumalabas sa mga exams natin or mga quizzes. Kaya nga di ba tinatanong natin kung anong type pa ng quiz or exam to. So dito mas makakatipid tayo ng oras. Tapos mas effective pa yung pagre-review natin dahil may focus. So yun.
What is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis is a strategic planning tool na ginagamit para makilala at ma-evaluate ang strengths, weaknesses, opportunities at threats ng isang business o project. Sa madaling sabi, tinutulungan nito ang isang organization na malaman kung saan sila magaling, saan sila mahina, ano ang mga chance na pwedeng i-grab at ano ang mga panganib na dapat iwasan. Ginagamit din ito para mas mapadali ang decision making at strategy planning. Halimbawa, may coffee shop ka. Strength mo yung quality ng coffee mo, weaknesses mo yung maliit na space, opportunity mo yung growing number ng coffee lovers, at threat mo yung bagong cafe na kakabukas sa tabi. History and concept. Ang SWOT analysis ay dinevelop noong 1960s ni Albert Humphrey sa Stanford University. Base ito sa research niya kung bakit maraming corporate plans ang hindi nagiging successful. Dahil dito, ginawa niya ang SWOT para matulungan ang mga organisasyon na mas maging maayos at epektibo ang kanilang planning process. Halimbawa, noon, maraming companies ang may magandang ideas pero palaging pumapalya sa execution. Nagamitin nila ang SWOT, mas naging malinaw kung ano talaga ang dapat ayusin, tulad ng kakulangan sa resources o mahinang management. Importance of SWOT analysis. Importante ang SWOT analysis dahil natutukoy nito ang mga internal at external factors na nakakaapekto sa business. Gumagabay ito sa paggawa ng strategic plans, pagsolusyon ng problems at pagdedesisyon base sa data, hindi sa hula. Bukod doon, nagbibigay ito ng malinaw na larawan kung nasaan at saan patungo ang business. Halimbawa, kung bumababa ang benta ng isang store dahil kulang sa online promotions, sa tulong ng SWOT, malalaman nilang kailangan palakasin ang marketing strategy nila.
I'll be discussing the elements of SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Each of these elements help us understand both the positive and the negative factors that affect an organization or business. Let's begin with the strengths. These are internal positive factors that give a company an advantage over others. In other words, ito yung mga bagay na nagpapalakas sa negosyo at dahilan kung bakit ito nagiging successful. For example, a strong brand image tulad ng Jollibee o Coca-Cola na madaling makilala at trusted ng mga tao. Pangalawa, loyal customers na patuloy bumabalik dahil satisfied sila. Pangatlo, skilled workforce na may expertise at dedication sa trabaho. Pero syempre, hindi lahat ng aspeto ay perfecto. Habang may mga kalakasan, meron ding mga kahinaan na kailangang harapin, and that brings us to weaknesses. Weaknesses are also internal factors, pero this time, they are negative and can hinder performance. Ito ang mga bagay na kailangan na improvement para mas gumanda ang takbo ng organization. Ang examples ito ay poor customer service, kung saan hindi nasisiyahan ang mga kliyente.
Pangalawa, outdated technology na nagpapabagal sa operations. Pangatlo, limited resources gaya ng kakulangan sa budget o manpower. Pero kahit may mga kahinaan, may mga panlabas na oportunidad din na pwedeng samantalahin. These are called opportunities. Opportunities are external factors that can help the business grow or gain an advantage. Ito ay mga pagkakataon sa paligid na pwedeng gamitin para sa pag-unlad ng kumpanya. Ang examples nito ay emerging markets o bagong lugar o segment na pwedeng pasukin. Pangalawa, technological advancements tulad ng paggamit ng AI o automation sa negosyo. Pangatlo, changes in consumer preference. Halimbawa, mas gusto na ngayon ng mga tao ang eco-friendly products. However, habang may mga oportunidad na pwedeng gamitin, meron ding mga banta o threats na kailangan paghandaan. Threats are also external factors pero sila naman ang mga bagay na negatively impact the organization. Hindi natin sila kontrolado pero dapat nating bantayan at paghandaan. Ang examples nito ay new competitors na pumapasok sa market. Pangalawa, economic downturn kung saan humihina ang kita dahil sa lagay ng ekonomiya. Pangatlo, changing regulations o bagong batas na pwedeng makaapekto sa operasyon ng negosyo. Kaya mahalagang kilalanin lahat ng apat na ito dahil kapag alam mo ang strengths, weaknesses, opportunities at threats, mas madali ka makakagawa ng strategic plan para sa ikatatagumpay ng negosyo.
SWOT in business. Magagamit natin yung SWOT sa business sa pamaraan na una, makakatulong tong ma-identify natin yung mga kalakasan na pwede nating magamit sa business natin. Pangalawa, maaari na agad nating matugunan yung mga kahinaan ng business natin. Pangatlo, matitake advantage natin yung mga oportunidad na nasa paligid ng business natin. Pang-apat, makakatulong din ito na mapaghandaan natin yung mga potential threats na dadating sa future. Na in worst case scenario, maaaring ito pa yung magpabankrupt sa business natin. Maaari natin itong maiwasan. SWOT in personal life. Pwede rin natin gamitin yung SWOT para mapa-improve yung sarili natin. Unang-una, strength. I-identify natin sa sarili natin. Meron tayong good communication skills. Weakness, poor time management. Opportunities, learning new skills. Threats, distractions or stress. Kagaya dito sa example, madali nating na-identify kung saan tayo malakas, kung saan tayo mahina, mga oportunidad at mga masasamang gawain natin. At dahil dito, makakatulong to na ma-improve natin yung sarili natin.
This slide shows an example of a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Here, it's applied to a laundry shop business. The strengths are fast and eco-friendly products. The weakness is having limited branches. The opportunities are the increasing demand for laundry services. The threat is the high level of competition in the market. Example, if a laundry shop notices that most income comes from students, they can focus promotion near schools, applying the Pareto principle to target the most profitable customers. Benefits and limitations. This slide talks about the pros and cons of using tools like SWOT or applying Pareto's principle. Benefits. It's simple, easy to understand, encourages self-awareness and helps in planning strategies. Limitations. It can be subjective since it depends on opinions, might oversimplify complex issues, and needs regular updates to stay relevant. For example, if a business keeps using the same SWOT analysis for years without updating it, the information may no longer fit current market, so regular review is needed.